If you keep attracting emotionally unavailable women, it's not an accident. It's not bad luck. It's a pattern. Welcome to the Connection Catalyst podcast, episode number 9. And today we're going to talk about how to stop attracting unavailable people into our life. My name is Karolina and I'm the Connection Catalyst. And today I will explain what to do when you feel like you're dating the same person in a different body because you keep repeating the same patterns in relationships over and over again. So, first, maybe let me go into why the chemistry feels stronger with the unavailable people. Because these people bring us uncertainty, and the uncertainty triggers dopamine. Dopamine feels like excitement, and excitement feels like attraction. So it's not intimacy, but we feel really excited, really attracted to these people because they activate us somehow. They produce different hormones within us, right? So our nervous system is actually confused. It confuses anxiety with love or attraction. And there is a push and pull dynamic that exists when the unavailable partner or person gives you breadcrumbs. I'm going to talk about breadcrumbing and what it is later on. And also, it creates an intermittent reinforcement pattern that I will also talk about in depth in further episodes. But let me explain these concepts just quickly. So, breadcrumbing is when someone gives you little bit of attention, little bit of love, just the breadcrumbs, so that you feel like, oh, I'm getting full a little bit, but they don't give you the whole loaf of bread, right? They just give you a tiny bit to maintain your connection to them so that you feel excited, so that you feel like, oh, maybe they are interested. And then they actually still don't talk to you or don't invite you or don't go out on a date with you, right? So it's kind of like a mind game that people play, especially in dating. And then we have intermittent reinforcement. When you are in a relationship with someone and they give you the highest highs and then the lowest lows, and even though the high is like, one day and the low is a week, then you're just waiting for this next time that the person is going to shower you with love again. And again, we're going into the other pattern, which is love bombing, right? So a lot of people, especially narcissists, use this way of getting you hooked on them, where they just shower you with so much love in so many different ways, gifts, or they say compliments, or they take you out in adventure or whatever. And when it comes to the women, they can give you a lot of appreciation and tell you how they value you as a man and things like that. But then they actually stop. So you're confused, you don't know what to do. And when they are unavailable, you think that you can do something so that they are interested again. So in a way, some people do it consciously, some people do it unconsciously. Narcissists do it all the time. And I'm going to speak about narcissism and people pleasing also in further episodes of the podcast, because these are such important concepts to understand when it comes to the relational dynamics that people should know about it. But when someone is unavailable, they get you addicted, because this pattern of intermittent reinforcement, when there's high, high and low, low, and then high, high again and low, low, actually works like drugs on your brain. Thus, especially if you're a high performing man, you love the challenge, right? You love earning love. You love winning someone over. But this is not real connection. This is performance. So, do you actually want to have your relationship based on your performance, or do you want it to be based on intimacy? And let me just explain why challenge feels like attraction. Because healthy attraction feels calm. But when there's uncertainty, when there's unavailability, it feels intense. It feels like a big boom. So then the challenge activates the ego. It is coming from this energy of I need to prove, which high achieving men absolutely love, and competition and so on, right? So there is a person who maybe dates 5 guys at once, and then you feel like, oh, this is someone I need to compete for, and you just like the good challenge. But it's not really good in relationships. This is familiar territory in business, and I understand that, but in relationships, it's not healthy at all. And you might think, for example, she is different, she is hard to get, or I really like strong women. But then she's just unavailable. So it's not really healthy for you, because do you really want to be with a woman who doesn't really choose you, who you need to like keep earning her love for ages? Or do you want someone who actually will be devoted to you, who will be loving, who will be kind, and who you're not going to have to play games with and pretend someone you're not in order to win their love? That's just some food for thought. For some personality types, for example, artistic ones, they can actually perceive distance as value, because it's so special when someone is not answering and then finally they answer something like super beautiful or, poetic or whatever. Especially for high achieving men, Enneagram personality type number 3, wing 4, so achiever, wing artist, the distance might feel like it's something valuable, because then it makes it more special when you see her, for example, once per month. Then this one meeting is so special. But actually, she's just freaking avoiding you and juggling 10 other guys. So, I mean, I'm generalizing here, right? To prove the point. But what I'm saying is that you might as well choose the woman who is open to you, who is kind, and who feels calm. Because then the emotional availability is proven to you, that you don't need to keep gaining something, keep gaining approval, keep gaining appraisal, keep gaining achievement of this person. We need to discern between intensity and intimacy. Intensity is fast, sexual, dramatic, unpredictable. But intimacy can feel slow, emotionally open, steady, and consistent, or sometimes even boring, quote unquote. But if it feels like a roller coaster, it's not really coming from the good place. It's probably trauma bonding. And I will talk about trauma bonding more, but it's pretty much when your subconscious unhealthy patterns are attracting other person's subconscious unhealthy patterns. So it's kind of toxic then. But if it feels calm, your ego might be saying, oh, there is no spark because I don't feel this intense sexual energy that I would feel if there was this trauma bonding happening, right? So calmness is when the secure love grows. So what does it mean to be in a secure relationship? What does it feel like to be steady? So secure attraction feels like there is no games that you have to play. You don't have to overthink her texts. You don't have to feel constant tension in your body. You can feel relaxed. You don't feel the need to impress anyone. You're just accepted as you are. It feels very grounded. It feels very emotionally mature. But for many high performing men, this might feel unfamiliar, right? Because from the trauma of I'm not enough and I always have to prove myself and I always need to gain more to be worthy of love, this might feel weird to suddenly be accepted and seen for who you are and not for what you do. So, how to actually stop attracting emotionally unavailable people? Well, first we need to go into our part that is emotionally unavailable, because especially for successful men and very charismatic, very disciplined man, it might be harder to see within yourself the pattern that you are emotionally unavailable. But if you avoid hard conversations, if you shut down during conflict, if you stay busy to avoid vulnerability, if you lose interest when she wants more closeness, more intimacy, or if you choose women who can't really fully commit to you or can't fully show up, that means that you are also emotionally unavailable. Because real intimacy requires showing up, requires slowing down, requires being seen without performance, requires emotional exposure and vulnerability, right? So that sometimes can feel more dangerous to our nervous system than scaling a business because we are not used to it. It's not familiar to us. So the real reason why you keep attracting emotional and available people is because you attract what matches your emotional capacity, your nervous system capacity, your traumatic patterns from childhood, and your subconscious suppressed parts that you rejected, disowned, denied. So, in the last episode of the podcast, I talked about how to do parts work. So, if you don't know how to discover these suppressed parts of you, you need to go and watch this episode. But if you do know, then you need to work with the part of you that is unavailable and then the opposite part of you. So, you would go into and channel only the unavailable part of you because this part within you attracts these people into your life. And it's easy to discover because if you fear rejection, if you fear being seen, if you fear deep intimacy, if you fear being controlled, then you will also choose women who can't fully choose you because the fear will reject them. It's going to be quote unquote self-sabotage, which doesn't actually exist. And if you watch my episode about parts work, you're going to know why. Because then when you choose this kind of women, you don't have to fully show up either. So you have a good excuse, right? Oh, this woman didn't really want to continue. Oh, this didn't work, so I will just refocus on my business again. It's very easy to just avoid this whole thing, right? Rather than seeing into yourself, intimacy with yourself, into me, see. So I encourage you to build intimacy with yourself by doing parts work. I explained in the episode 8, in the last episode of the Connection Catalyst podcast, how to do it step by step and really see and feel and understand the part of you who is unavailable and resolve this unavailability, resolve these fears that might be hidden underneath in your subconscious mind. And then you're going to be surprised how your reality changes based on the new energy that you're bringing in, because you are also creating the relationships that you're in. And when you shift internally, you're going to stop repeating the same patterns in your relationships. And also, another thing that I want to mention, how to stop this pattern, what action steps you can take to not attract these unavailable people, apart from the first step that is doing the parts work on yourself, with the part of you that is available and unavailable. Then you need to also stop chasing intensity and also choose consistency over big chemistry, big passion, and so on. And ask yourself, is this excitement or is this insecurity? Because if this is something unhealthy, it's going to feel insecure. It's going to feel like you're walking on eggshells. And you can also notice when your body feels anxious in relation to the other person, and really take your time, slow down in your dating life so that you can take your time to really know the person and to get safer and safer in trusting them. Having said that, in my view, the most important step of everything that I mentioned is to do parts work, to heal your unavailability wound, to work with the part of you that is unavailable and available, resolve it inside, because when you feel secure, your love life also feels secure. You don't need a more available woman. You need a more available version of yourself, because the woman that you say you want will not stay with the version of you that only feels safe in complete chaos. So if you want to attract someone who is loving, who is kind, who will be there for you, who is emotionally mature, you need to first work on your shit to then become the version of you that this woman will feel attracted to. So, thanks so much for watching. If you're interested to work with me, you can find me on karolinakuraj.com, KarolinaKuraj.com. Shoot me a message if you have any questions about what I said, or comment and send it to someone who might attract unavailable people so that they know how to stop doing that and what to do step by step in order to get out of these patterns. I will explain more about relationship patterns and toxic dynamics and dysfunctional things later on. So if you like my content, make sure to subscribe and listen to the further episodes. Thanks again for being here with me and sending you much, much love.